Hey guys, Quiv, the Lazy Geek here, and finally we're back to go to the second part of the processing workflow with the Sunflower Galaxy, where we will be looking at the nonlinear side of things after the masked stretch is finished. So in the previous video I had left you with the masked stretch finally getting done. In this video we're going to see the results of that masked stretch and what we're going to do afterwards, mostly curves transformation. But again, I'd like to show you my workflow. We'll also be comparing at the end of the video two of the images of the same galaxy that I processed both to the best of my ability, and to see what difference we get when we have less exposure time or more exposure time. And I hope that's going to be useful. So let's do it together. Okay, and our masked stretch is done. So I'm going to clear the screen transfer function here so we can see how it looks like, and it doesn't look too bad. The colors are there, the stars are there, everything is there. Of course we have the background noise that is still here, but we're going to get to that in a moment. Now I'm going to go and do what I always do after my stretch, is some curves transformation, which is good for my galaxies because I want to kind of stretch the core of the galaxy, and I want to basically zoom into my curves to the left side of the curve with my mouse wheel and drop a bit the background. So this, many people don't like doing that because it's really clipping some of the pixels to dark values, but it's necessary for me for my galaxy pictures. And then the point of interest that I have is the galaxy itself, right? So I don't want to be too completely aggressive yet. I can do more later, but if I check before after with this preview, it's not bad at all. Okay, so let's actually apply that. So the next step I'll have is maybe I'm going to try some local histogram equalization. So local histogram equalization, for that I am actually going to use my luminance mask because I know it's centered on the galaxy, which is where I want this local histogram transformation equalization to be effective. I typically put my kernel radius to 120 something. I don't know why. I saw it in a video one day and I want very slight effect, so I put the contrast limit to 1.1. And I have my mask applied so that this applies only to the galaxy proper. And I'm going to drag and drop this and see how that gives, what that gives. So this is actually not bad. I keep the brightness at the center, but I get more details within the galaxy anyway. It's kind of more visible. I almost wish I could put like 0.8 there to have slightly less of an effect, but I cannot. So let's just apply 1.1. Or maybe I can degrade the amount to like 0.8. And let's try that. And here we are. It doesn't look too bad at all. I'd even say it looks kind of good. Okay, next step that I have is I am going to, unmask first. And then I'm going to create a new luminance mask, and this will be used for noise reduction using ACDNR. And so I am going to go to my Process Explorer. We're going to go inside the histogram transformation, which is here. And we are going to select our luminance. And I'm going to kind of stretch it a little bit while removing the background. Something like this. Okay, and then I am going to fuzzy it up using the linear multi-scale transformation, which is here. And we're going to do the same thing. I might even blur some more by removing the third layer as well. And now we have a blurred galaxy there. I am going to use that as a noise mask. Okay, and let's put that in. And we're going to invert the mask because I want to apply noise reduction to outside the galaxy. So I'm going to do invert mask, and we're going to go to ACDNR. And we're not going to do too aggressive. I'm going to put something like 2 and 2.5. I don't apply a lightness mask because I've already applied a lightness mask manually. I'm going to stop showing the mask. I'm going to go into the preview. Maybe I'll make a bigger preview that includes the galaxy, just so we can see the effects on the background as well. And we're going to apply that. And let's look at what this gives us. There's definitely a bit of, enhancement in the background noise. I might increase the luminance background noise reduction and lightness as well to 2.5 and 3. I don't want to go overboard as either, but let's try to see how this looks like. And I think this doesn't look too bad. We can compare. And this is not too bad. And since it's not too bad, we're going to apply it to the entire image, and then we're going to play with curves some more. Okay, good. So we have applied this to the entire image. I am now going to play with saturation. So first I'm going to desaturate my background using I want to use a very aggressive luminance mask. So actually the noise mask we're going to use for this, which we're going to go to curves transformation, and we're going to reset the curves transformation. I'm going to use my mouse wheel to get back to the standard zoom. We're going to use S here for the saturation, basically control, and we're going to open the preview, and we're going to diminish the saturation to some extent. And I don't like that because it's actually stealing the colors from the galaxy proper. So I'm actually going to create yet another mask just for the color processing. So we are going to remove the mask. We're going to create another luminance instance of this image, and we are going to play with the histogram to transform that. And I want to be very aggressive, so I want to keep only my galaxy in the center. I'm not selecting the right one. There it is. So we really want to cut off, to really focus on the galaxy in the center while keeping some amount of details around the galaxy, because I don't want to lose my saturation a bit too quickly. So something like this might make a lot of sense. And then I need to make sure that I kind of feather this so that I'm going to use the, again, the linear multiscale transform to kind of make sure that it is as smooth as possible. And I'm doing it with 4 layers now to get something smoother. Okay, let's try that mask. We're going to call it color mask. And now we have our color mask. Let's apply it to the image. Oops, not copy it, but actually apply it to the image. There we are. And we're going to invert that mask. And now that the mask is inverted, I can go back to my curves transformation. And we are going to desaturate, I said desaturate, the background without affecting too much the galaxy proper. So we can see we are indeed desaturating the background almost to a fault. I'm losing some color here. So I might go a bit less heavy on the desaturation to some kind of compromise. And I think this is not too terrible, right? We've desaturated the background quite a bit so it doesn't pop out as much. And yes, something like this. So we're desaturating that background, and once this is applied, I'm going to invert the mask again, and this time we're going to increase the saturation of the galaxy proper. And we're going to do it in multiple steps. It could use some more saturation, maybe not that much, but a little bit more. And we could also play with chroma, which will make like the galaxy pop out even more in terms of the warm colors. So a little bit of chroma, and yeah, this is not bad at all, I think. So let's apply that. And now we have much more color within the galaxy. So this is pretty, I think this is pretty decent as a result. Let's play a bit more actually with the curves, and we're going to remove the mask, and we're just going to apply a little bit of contrast, simple, very basic contrast on that image. So I'm increasing a bit on the brights and decreasing the background. And yeah, I think that's a fairly good compromise. So here we are. And that's pretty much my final image. So what we can do is actually, I'm going to remove the previews, delete all, and let's compare it with the image that I had before when I had a single night. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, but I like, rather than comparing with just an STF applied or a single stretch to see like what is the difference in quality, I actually like to compare images that I have processed to the best of my ability. And so to do that, I can go and drag and drop another image. So the one that I had from my previous session, is that really it? No. This one. So this is what we can see side by side what we achieved in those two images. I'm going to try to match more or less the zoom levels. So we can see that the image with fewer frames in it has much more noise around the galaxy there, whereas mine is a bit smoother, but still it's in Tokyo, so don't expect miracles. Another thing with the image that has more frames on the left is that this dark band here on the side of the galaxy is much less noisy and much more visible. Also on that previous image, I kind of went overboard with deconvolution, I guess, or maybe there was simply not enough signal to noise ratio to support the deconvolution, so I got those very colorful wings there and a very weird kind of color contrast between the branches or the arms of the galaxy. And this is much better here, where I've not gone overboard with deconvolution, and you know, I still retain a lot of details, and it is less noisy, even though it's obviously not perfect. Again, Tokyo, but still, it is pretty decent. So I kind of like this final image, and how it compares to the image that I processed from a single night of imaging. And that gives you an idea of what more exposure time can accomplish. This is basically twice, a bit more than twice the exposure time, and it is indeed easier to process. And this is from Tokyo. You can imagine how the impact of twice the exposure time in a darker zone can increase or enhance the object that you are processing. So I hope this was helpful, and next time I'm going to actually try to use topaz denoise on my image here on the left to see if we can get an even better denoised picture, and let's do that together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was useful. If you like this, please like this video. Please also subscribe. That would be very helpful. And don't forget to look up at the ceiling or the clouds, or even better, the stars. See you next time.